All right, welcome back everyone. This is going to be part 7 here, a final assembly of the all-terrain track chair project. And behind me here, we've got this fuel tank set up right there by the machine. And I was calibrating the fuel gauge so that when the gauge reads empty, that the tank is basically empty, and when it's full, the tank is basically full. So I got that all set up. Next up, I'm going to be scuffing that one and getting some clear coat on it. And over here, I've got this tank done. It has been lightly scuffed and then clear coated. And it's hard to see the shine there, but it's got a lot of shine. I like how that turned out. So we're going to get that one done on this one. And then we're going to continue on with some track assembly things. I got a couple things left on this side, the spring tensioners. I ordered new springs. Got those in. Those are a little heftier ones, a little higher spring rate. And there's one unit there ready to go on. Got some bolts ordered that I needed for that. And then we'll get going on this side. It's hard to see with the angle. But there's some more stuff to do obviously on this side. So that's going to be our focus here. Probably some other things fitted in as well in between times, but we'll see where we get here. So let's get to it. Bottom is completely prepped here and ready for a shot of clear. I've got all the sides scuffed. Mostly we'll put a little bit more finer to it, but I want to get the bottom clear coated here. And here's the right fuel tank finished with clear coat. As you can see, it's got a pretty high gloss to it. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So now both fuel tanks are done. Got a little bit of hardware to clean up, and then those will be almost ready to go on. Here's some progress on the control box stand. This is the main part that holds the control box, and we'll move it up and down and in and out. And kind of a clear plexiglass arm there that helps with the tilt of it. So I'm in the middle of replacing these pivot bolts that hold the suspension arms in there. They're on a DOM tube inside there, and I noticed from previously that the bolts had some wear, so I was putting new ones in, and at first I could only find a no grade 12-inch bolt, which I wasn't happy with. I put those in though just so I could get it together, and then I did some more searching and I found a grade 5, which you can tell here by the 3 notches there on the bolt head. And one thing that I noticed as I'm switching these things out is that there's actually a difference in the size of the bolt. The no grade one there is on the right, and I measured the unthreaded diameter there, and it measures at 0.450, which is about 50 thousandths of an inch under half an inch. The grade 5 bolt there on the left, you can see it's full diameter there, and it's just a few thousandths smaller than half inch, so 0.500. It's just a little bit smaller than that. So I thought that was interesting, seeing the difference on these bolts. I'm happy to have found these grade 5 bolts to go in, and I'm in the process of getting them all changed out. I've got the right side done, and I'm working on the left side now. Anyway, back to work. Preparing to put on right side fuel tank. Why are we looking at an empty pallet? Because it's an empty pallet. And what was on that pallet? Those shiny fuel tanks. They're finally on. Now there's still a little bit left to do on getting them hooked up. I gotta finish hooking up the hoses, hook up the sender, but physically they are mounted on there. And I really think it fills out how this thing looks, fills in that gap in it where it was. So pretty happy to have those fuel tanks on. It also means, since we have an empty pallet, you get a little more shop space back, and this pallet right here represents the metal parts that are still remaining that still need to go on. So we're getting a lot closer here. So anyway, let's get back to it. Here's a control box stand all assembled. Get some close-up views of that. We've got two actuators down here, and I'll demonstrate the function there. We've got a little servo drive right here, and I'll show the function of that. We've got a gear motor right here that raises and lowers the whole stand so that you can connect to the wheelchair. It connects to the wheelchair with these tubes right there with the coned ends. It slides into some receptacles that I still have to assemble together yet, but I've got them. They're all painted and stuff. And then this little box here is what controls the function on this stand. For storage, I've got a 3D mount right here. It simply lifts off of there. There's another mount up here in the control box. It slides in there. This little lever goes over there and locks it in place. Now it can't come off. And then once you've got the wheelchair mounted up to it, I'm going to set the tripod up so it can hold the camera, and I'll show you that. So that's next. About where it would be at the wheelchair. When you're in the all-terrain tracked vehicle, the safety bar would come down over here, and then to get the control box to a comfortable position, that's what these actuators and this other gear motor are for. So we're going to extend this out. And then we're going to lower it down. There we go, that's getting pretty comfortable. And if you want to tilt it, you can tilt it like that, raise it up a little bit, tilt, raise. Oh, maybe it's too close, so we'll retract it a little bit. So that puts everything here in nice, easy to reach for the ramp up, down, the throttle. There's a handheld right here to help steady everything. And then you probably can't see it very well here, so I'll back up a little bit. Then the joystick itself is also on another adjustable arm. So you can move that around to get it to the position that you want it, and then tighten it up here. So now you can easily drive in the position that's comfortable. So I'll come back forward. That way then the arms don't have to be extended out. This control box can be put right in the position that's comfortable. So then when you're ready to get out, you're going to raise that up, tilt it down, retract it back. And now you've got a lot more room to maneuver and open up the safety bar and all that sort of fun stuff. And then again, when you're done with it and you're going to be ready to take the control box off for whatever reason, you just flip this little lever. This thing just lifts off like so and goes back in the holster right there. So that's a quick summary of the revised control box stand here with it basically finished. A few more tweaks to do to it, but basically done. Additionally, on this control box stand, I wanted to point out the number of things that have been 3D printed on this and the control box itself. So looking at the control box first, the entire black enclosure is 3D prints out of ABS. Everything that's black is ABS. We've got the antenna protector right here, protects the antenna. The enclosure is printed as 4 pieces and glued all together. This double 4-bar linkage that holds the joystick is all 3D printed as well. The knob here. This holster saddle for this switch box, this lever, this handle assembly here, 2 separate pieces there. The joystick knob, it was just a little ball. It's been made longer in size to be comfortable to grip. These coned ends here to make it go into the receptacles on the wheelchair, much easier. These saddles to transition from round conduit to square tube and still be adjustable for width and height. That's all been 3D printed. This little gearbox cover hides the wire connections, 3D printed. This other one over here as well, 3D printed. So, and then of course this holster on the actual stand, and then the V thing right there. These have all been designed by me and printed on my home machine. So another view from this angle. One thing to note here, if I got the winch on, and one key improvement that I had made before I took this thing apart is this aluminum plate. There are springs right here and over here, and what that does is it keeps tension on this nylon rope. And typically you see that's a rat's nest, and it's because most winches don't have this spring tensioner so that it wraps evenly. And if you don't wrap wire rope or nylon rope onto a winch evenly, it can lead to breaks in the cable. It also leads to uneven pull, because the bigger this gets, the less force that the winch can actually pull. So having that wound nice and even allows you to pull better, it keeps your rope in better condition, and of course it just looks nicer. So, I mean, this right here is a second layer, and it's just starting on the third layer right here. Your winch pulling force does decrease as you get more layers on there, so your optimal pulling is really if you're on the first layer or the second layer. So anyway, I thought I'd point that out. Then I've got the winch wand right here in this holder. That keeps it so that you can have it connected all the time. The excess cable wraps right here. The holder is right there. To release it, I'll get back a little bit here. You just pull up a little bit, open that, and here's your winch wand, nice and easy to use. I 3D printed another joystick to make it easier to operate right there with your other hand. Of course, this 3D holster is also all 3D printed out of ABS. You put it back in there, and it ratchets its closed to hold it under vibration. Again, making it nice and easy. So this is kind of where we're going to wrap up here. We got a nice view of the fuel tanks. We're out of time for this segment in the shop. It's been a good one. It's kind of the last we're going to see of this year because we're right at the end of the year. By the time you view this, it will be 2021. And so I wish you guys all a happy new year. And we'll catch you on the flip side, and let me know if you have any comments or questions. And I look forward to the next videos coming up where there's going to be a test drive. So happy new year, and thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already.